I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey guys, welcome to Dish Upon a Star. I'm your host, Chae Jones, and today's guest is Royster. You might recognize her from Casey Undercover, Pretty Little Liars, Youth and Consequences, and plus many more. I'm so excited that you're here today.
Thanks, dude. I'm so excited.
And just to give you guys a little background on Dish Upon a Star, we're going to talk with some of your favorite TV and movie stars from your favorite shows and movies about their life on their projects. Oh, that was just nice background. We're going to talk about their favorite, their projects they worked on, their life after those projects, and what's new for them. So we're going to jump right into it. But, before we jump into our show, I have to say how full circle our relationship has come.
I know, dude.
Because, for guys, we met during Faking It. A little show called Faking It on MTV. Maybe you heard of it back in 2013.
Yep.
And now, 6 years later, we're here.
We are.
That is crazy and awesome.
And just back and forth all throughout the years. Yeah, that was 6 years ago?
Yeah.
No, something more.
We did it in August.
Yeah. Crazy how time works. LA's a little town sometimes.
It's a little town, and it's awesome.
But I got to meet you, and it was awesome.
I know, she was. We met. It was so that set and cast was so incredible. You guys were just super nice. I've been doing background for a while at that point. It was just nice to be on a show where everybody actually was genuine.
Yeah, everyone on there was just excited to be working on it and was very interested in what was happening next, and everyone worked like a real unit, which was nice.
It was awesome, and the house in Topanga, Tarzana was just really nice, and the couple, they're just so cute, and they told the best story ever. But we can't get into too much into Faking It. We'll have to get into Casey Undercover, because do you remember your audition for Casey Undercover?
I do. So it actually is a really funny story. So I was working on Liv and Maddie at the time, and for whatever, I was just flipping through channels in my dressing room, and I saw Zendaya doing an interview talking about how she was about to start a new journey on Disney Channel. She was about to start Casey Undercover, and it's the same casting director as Liv and Maddie, so I went over to her and I was like, "Hi, I'd like to do that too, please." And she's like, "You guys kind of look alike, so that might be a little difficult, but whatever." And then 6 months later, I got an audition to play the cousin on Casey Undercover. So I walked into her office and I just looked at her. I was like, "Hey," and she's like, "Yeah, I know. You told me. It's fine. Just go for it." So did that, and then just did a callback process with way too many people in a room. And then it all worked out. It was the coolest thing. And so it was just one of those weird moments of why I happened to be in my dressing room at that particular time. And she had it was just a weird setup and stuff, but it all worked out and it was a blast from there on out.
And it pays to ask.
Yeah.
If you don't ask, you don't know.
Exactly. So not putting any barriers on yourself. Doesn't have to be those boundaries. There doesn't have to be.
Definitely. And you come on to Casey Undercover as Abby. And at first you seem like you're very as nerdy as Casey is in the show. But we learned later that you have some very sinister alternative motives in your pocket, because you're working for the other side.
Exactly. That was such a dream role to play, because in my day-to-day life, I am such a nerd and nervous, and just the beginning of Abby is just completely me being flustered all the time, and that's just my existence. But I typically play a mean girl for 55-60% of the roles that I do. So to be able to be myself, but also falling into that mean girl thing that I can get into, it got a nice little range going.
What was it like when you found out that Miss Jasmine Guy will be playing your mother?
It was so cool, and she is so amazing, and I liked the look of all of us doing it, and then the fact that she was meeting back up with Kadeem, I was just like, this is the cutest, coolest thing ever.
Especially the A Different World references.
Oh my gosh, constantly. It was so funny, and it was just cool to know that I was part of that moment of TV history of them reuniting and doing all that. So I thought it was really cool, and that she's obviously amazing and beautiful and an icon. And so it was, cool to be a part of.
I mean, speaking of icons, you had not one, but two icons playing your parents. You had Miss Jasmine Guy and you had Rick Fox as your parents. And I could only half imagine just particularly your scenes together. Yeah. And there's no one else around. What was that like for you?
It was just bizarre, especially there's, with a lot of Disney shows, there's such a rehearsal process and stuff. And so there was times, we're just going through the motions of rehearsal, and then I'd walk away like, what is my day? What is happening? Why? It's like we had like an ice cream truck, and then like me and Rick Fox like was like, oh, I have chocolate, I have strawberry, and we're just like talking about ice cream, and I was like, where am I? What has my life come to? Yeah, he was completely amazing. I have so many pictures. I actually got a really cute picture of my parents and my TV parents when my parents came to visit. Yeah,
that's a picture of you from Casey Undercover before you met your parents. I just thought that was really cute.
Yeah, that beautiful locket. I wanted to keep that locket. I didn't. I wanted to though. I thought about it.
Did you try to keep anything from Casey Undercover?
I didn't get to keep anything from Casey Undercover, but I have a bag, like they give you like a little tote bag, and so I had everyone sign it.
Nice.
So I have that tote bag with me. I use it for my groceries because I am environmentally conscious.
We respect that. Like being environmentally conscious is very like we need to all be actually.
Yes.
Especially in this economy that we live in today.
Yeah. I hate to use the word climate, but yeah, climate too.
Yeah, the climate definitely.
Yeah.
When you guys were filming though, did they give you any advice, whether it be career-wise or personally?
Everyone on there was just really amazing, and like with Pretty Little Liars and everything else, they're like, hey, the internet's a weird, crazy place. Be cautious of it. But even though I've played like, because Pretty Little Liars, I wasn't like a villain, but I was like ruining a ship. So like you get the hate, and I was expecting of it, and I knew I was going to be a bad guy. And but all the fans have been so incredibly amazing from both. So it was really a pleasure to know that there wasn't so much. And when there's hate, it's still funny. Like I can laugh about it. And yeah, so everyone's been amazing, and it's cool to be able to talk about. I had a young man come up to me, and he goes, "Did you ever turn good?" And I was like, no, sweetie. No, I did. Like, that's like the heartbreaking thing for me. I had to tell this young child. I was like, but I'm okay now. Thank you for asking. Like,
that is so sweet.
It was
At the
so
same
cute.
time, just like, but honey, no, I'm still in jail.
Yeah, I was
with my
like,
parents.
I got out on good behavior. Thank you, though. Thank you for asking. I'm sorry.
Speaking of Pretty Liars, you joined the cast, like 6B, has a huge fan base. And what was it like for you from the audition to doing the scenes with the cast and coming in and shaking things up, definitely?
Yeah. I have been a Pretty Little Liars fan from the get-go. Like, I remember watching the countdown on ABC Family, of the first episode, and just being completely addicted to it. It was something that, like, me, my mom, my sister all watched. We had our theories. I was addicted. I was able to post up old tweets and stuff from, like, 5 years prior to me coming on the show of just like, A cannot be Caleb because, and like had my whole thing all set up. Yeah, so to be able to get the audition, I was like, first of all, why haven't I asked a million times for an audition for this show? Like it popped into my head. I was like, it was so ingrained in just like my TV watching that I was like, hey, you're an actress. You could go and do that at some point. And I was like, all right, well, I'm 6 years in. Let's go for it anyway. So it was actually a taped audition. And, it's hard with a taped audition. You feel like you're part of like a big group of people just sending in something and you don't want to get lost amongst the chaos. Yeah. So did the tape audition and then got immediately a chemistry read. And I was like, terrifying. And obviously I didn't know. There it is. I didn't know who it was with. Like, I didn't know whose love interest I was going to be. I was like, is it Chae's or is it Keegan's or is it Caleb's? Like, I had no idea, especially I knew I was coming in at the time jump. So I was
like 5 years later. So where do everybody fall?
Yeah, who could that be? So I remember exactly. I read it out loud because I was with my mom. I was like, my chemistry reads with Keegan Allen, but he's with Spence. Oh, no. Oh, no. And like, just was like, oh, I'm about to go and ruin some lives over here. Okay. So, knowing the show the way that I did, the ins and outs of it, I was like, am I part of the A team? Am I a bad guy? Is she unknowing? Like everyone who has come into the show has been in all different like levels of that. So yeah, just kind of hopped in, did the test with Keegan on his birthday. Got to say happy birthday because I was a creepy stalker fan at the time and now. Marlene was there, and so I just was panicked. But then you kind of just like go into the room and took a deep breath and just did it. And then I walked out like, well, that would be cool. But that was fine. Like whatever just happened, like I could totally walk away and be completely fine with that moment. But it worked out.
And
here we are.
Yvonne Phillips.
Yes.
Now, there are some definitely similarities between you and Spencer. Obviously, throughout the show, like, obviously, I was not going to say Keegan. I was going to call him by
Toby.
I was going to call him by his character name, but Keegan. Toby's character has a type.
Yes.
Basically. Strong, driven woman. Why would you fault somebody for that?
Exactly.
But, how did you feel knowing you're coming in messing up this ship?
Especially that ship, because again, way too involved into their lives, where I was like, their ups and downs were so much. Like they went through so many things. So to come into that situation was already like rocky. So it was a weird position to be in. But as a fan, I was so interested to see what happens next with them and seeing how they were going to bounce back from it. Because it's like, it's a ship. They are meant to be together. So I always knew that was going to be what it was. But it became what it was, and they navigated through it.
I mean, navigated is a strong term because you died.
I sure did.
And yep. I know a lot of people were not okay with that.
Right. I know there's so many people that literally, I was sitting in a booth. I was at a Korean barbecue place, noon. And I am sitting in a booth, and I feel a tap on my shoulder, and I turn around, and it's a young girl, and she's just like, Yvonne deserved better. And I'm just hysterically laughing, and we take a picture and everything. It was awesome. But yeah, I get that all the time. And I loved my arc. You know what I mean? I always knew that she was going to die. Marlene told me.
Oh, you knew from the jump?
Yeah, I knew at some point. I didn't know how or when or any of that. So, because it's the most secretive show on television, I think, still to this day. But yeah, so I kind of knew that there was going to be a point where I did need to die and everything. So I loved it. I thought it was a beautiful story. It really took all the characters to a different level, which was cool to be a part of. Cool to show that side of Toby's character and Spencer and, even Chae's character, everybody. So it was cool to be a catalyst for that.
Now, what was your favorite PLL fan theory?
I don't know. There was so many throughout the years.
I know there's been a lot.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be, I just know everyone by their real names. I'm sorry. But Lucy's character.
Arya.
I definitely thought Arya was going to end up being more part of the A-team.
Why?
She was always doing something off. She was always kind of the one missing. I felt like they were always kind of doing something, and she was always by herself. She could have gone away with a lot more. I don't know. I just always thought that was going to come to be.
Okay.
But yeah.
Now, let's just say, for hypothetically, if Yvonne would have, didn't die, do you believe that she and Toby would still be married?
No. I think that they were just so meant to be, especially characters that go through what they did. They have to come out the other side together. They got through bigger things than that, deaths and lies and all these other things. I think if they could make it through even the stuff before me, they can make it past me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you really want Spencer and Toby to be together?
I know. I was everyone's always I ship them so hard, and I know I'm not supposed to, I guess, but
Were they your favorite couple?
Yeah, they were my favorite couple
Hands
for
down.
sure, hands down, easily. Okay. So yeah, especially for me as a fan coming in, I was like, oh, my favorite ones. That's who I ruined. Super.
Sure.
Sure.
I'll supply to that.
Right. At least I was I knew what was going on. Yeah.
So you didn't it.
Right. I was not.
So how was it for you? Because you were a fan of the show, not in the sense judging Yvonne for what happened.
Well, it was nice because Yvonne genuinely was just good. She came in, it was his ex-girlfriend from 5 years ago. She had no reasons to be, she was never rude to her or anything. She just stood her ground and was didn't think anything of it. So that was cool because I did play it at the start. She was defensive and stuff. And they're no, she's a very smart, capable woman who doesn't need to feel insecure. And I loved the direction that we went with it. I'm glad that Marlene painted that picture of the new girlfriend, not sassy, mean or anything. She was just, and they were adults at that point. So
And she actually responded like an adult woman.
Exactly.
And secure in her relationship.
Right. So I liked that. That's why I respected Yvonne, and I think that her story was told so well.
Definitely. And then you did a show called Youth and Consequences.
Yeah.
On YouTube. It was literally one of my favorite. I loved it.
I loved that show. I rewatched an episode. I can say that, right? Is that weird? I rewatched an episode recently. It like popped up in my recommended. I was like, I do want to watch some Youth and Consequences.
I mean, why not? I mean, you're Jane with the Y.
Yeah. I kept the Y necklace. That is the one where I got to keep it. Yeah. So I still have that.
And you also had a secret talent. You were a hacker.
Yes.
How did for you to play that? Like, even though technically you weren't really mean, the shade was there, but it wasn't necessarily trying to be mean. But you also had another layer. Like, I'm not just a pretty face.
Yeah, that was really, really cool. And I had known from the jump that she was going to have like some sort of secret thing go on. Again, they don't tell me much until it's happening. I love Jane with a Y. I think that she was a multi-layered character, like you said. Like, she was very sassy. She was very blunt. She seemed like the most like mature, I guess, of the group and stuff, and was just like really ready to go to college and just navigate, but ferociously protected her friends and was always down to help. Anna's character, again, I never learned the character names. I'm terrible. But
I thought it was Fallon.
No, not Fallon. Farrah. It's fine. I was there. I should have known. Yeah. So always down to help Farrah, and yeah.
Except for when you kind of found out the secrets that she's been keeping. I mean, personally, as a viewer watching it, I kind of thought Jane took it further than it should have, because like after that moment, it was just like all like everybody turned against Farrah.
Right. Well, I think the way that we went about it and stuff, and we talked about it a lot of like, what does this mean? What does this mean for their relationship and stuff? And I think it was because Jane with a Y, any chance, she was always like, what do you need? What do you want? I'm here for you. What do you need me to do? I'll do it. Like, no questions asked, was always just ready to be part of the team of whatever Farrah's plot was. She just kind of like, was like, yeah, all right, let's do it. And so for her to be so open and ready, and then for Farrah to not trust her enough to let her know that this was going on in her life, I think was just such a betrayal. And I think that was, by the end of the season, what you were starting to see was that all of her things, as much as they were for whatever, all for the good of everyone, it was also like selfish of her to not let anyone else in. And I think that's like a good lesson to learn, and that you have to just let people in, no matter how much you feel like you're doing stuff on the sidelines for someone. Like, they just want to be included in the know. Definitely.
And even though there won't be a season 2, like at least right now, it could come back. We don't know.
We'll do a Friends reunion style in a little bit. It'll be great.
What would you have liked to happen for a season 2?
For a season 2, I would have loved to see where Hook and Plain's relationship went, because I loved them. That I thought was such a cool thing, and it was that weird thing of the jealousy and all that. And so I would love to have seen Plain's character rise above that jealousy and finally figure out that they were meant to be, and then figuring it out from there what they needed to do. The last scene is them driving off, like the frenemies driving off, and seeing them rekindle, and watching again Piper's character like taking over the school for Jane,
and making out with her date, like,
right, ma'am, excuse me, ma'am. I would have loved to see. Everyone's always like, oh, we'll have to get Jane a love interest, and I was like, I don't think that's her focus. I don't know what I could have seen going for Jane, but I think just finding herself outside of the group, I think, would have been really interesting. Her exploring her opportunities with hacking and seeing where that took her, and just evolving into the person that she's going to be.
I would love to see that as well.
Yeah.
So, fingers crossed,
Yeah, somewhere, some way. We'll just rename it. We talked about that. We're like, we'll just rename everyone, rename the show, and just go do it ourselves somewhere else.
I would be down.
Same cast, everything, but just different names.
There are certain schools you can shoot in LA where it's free, so.
Right. So Farrah, it's Lara, and we'll just keep it going. And
now you also did a movie called Most Likely. Well, it was, I know the name got switched, but it was Most Likely, Murder at the Lake.
Secrets at the Lake, and then became Murder in the Suburbs.
Murder in the Suburbs. And I just rewatched it. It's interesting because your character ends up getting jealous of Katie's character, and her relationship seems like with your boyfriend. And, you know, you're just like, what is happening? Like,
right.
I don't know what this is. Why is my man spending time with you? And I like the fact that you finally did confront her after a little bit of shadiness,
right,
beforehand. But I did love the confrontation you did with her in the film.
Yeah, I think that was well executed again. Where again doesn't have to be petty or like, yeah, there was some shade, just a little bit of like irkedness. But I like that they wrote it so that it's just more so about, can we just be honest with each other? Like, we just got to get it all laid out on the table, and I think that's been like a really cool lesson. Like you said, like we just got to lay stuff out. Like it's all gonna erupt some point. At least you were open and honest about it.
Yeah, like just tell me. Like I can take it. Like are we sleeping together? Like let me know so I can go on with my life after this.
Exactly. So I think that they definitely approached it really well for jealousy, because I feel like that's such a weird thing, like when people do it, and it's just like makes everyone uncomfortable. Yeah. So I think just getting all things out there.
And in the movie, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, it's on Lifetime.
Close your ears. La 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 la.
I know. La 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 la. In the movie, however, you end up dying in the hot tub, and I'm still not okay with that.
Yeah. That was. When I read it, I was like, oh, and there I go. I feel like I'm like Sean Bean. I need like a collection of all my deaths from stuff, like from Pretty, Casey.
Your fake
Supernatural, right? Fake deaths, Supernatural. Again, close your ears, might be whatever, but like
if you haven't seen
deaths
Supernatural,
and coming back to life.
It's been for 12 seasons, people.
Sorry, catch up. Yeah, so I would like a collection of all my deaths. So if anyone has better editing skills than me, I would love to see that.
And in the film, obviously, it turns out that Trevor from Riverdale, was the killer. I love murder mysteries, and since I'd love to know who did it. Mm-hmm. So I love the fact that it threw me off on who it actually was. I thought that was super cool. I kind of figured it was a guy right after the person came out the house.
Right.
And I was just like, that doesn't look like a female silhouette, maybe. So maybe it's a guy, but then who's killing? And I'm so confused.
Right. But really
tricked me.
So they actually do that. So for some of the shots, it's Trevor. And then for some of the shots, it was whoever was around.
Nice.
Like we had our makeup artist in there at one point, some hair people, a couple grips. Like they would literally actually switch it out. They also did that on Pretty. Wow. So like it was always kind of different hands and people, and so that no one can pin it. Hands. Yeah. So you can't pause it and try and whatever, because people did. They were trying to like digitally get in it.
They zoom in.
Like, I was like, well, that's a grip. So you are no closer to finding out.
And you were telling me during that death scene that you actually filmed it while it was hailing outside.
Yes, it was completely like torrential downpour, hailing, winds. So they just set up like a little cabana-looking thing like all around the pool or the jacuzzi. And, you know, I was in a bathing suit and stuff, and everyone's like, oh my God, you're such a champion. Like, thank you for being so, like, cool about doing this. Like, we're so sorry. And I'm like, in a jacuzzi. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm basically a saint. Yeah, it's fine. I'm such a hard worker. Like, everyone else is, like, freezing cold, like, holding mics and everything. And I was like, yeah, I'm the champion of tonight. That's fine.
Because I'm in a warmth right now.
Right, I was just super chilling. I was like, if someone would give me a glass of wine, though, that'd be...
like, that would actually cap off my night.
Right.
Before the dying, that would cap off my night.
Yeah. And then we just kind of, like, I was chilling in the jacuzzi. They were setting up shots, and did it a couple of times, and... worked out, because we had to do it twice, 2-3 times with Trevor doing it, and then like 3 times with literally it was our makeup artist, because I was like, it's still like a weird thing, like someone is doing it, and I just want to
make their hand over your mouth.
Exactly. So I was just like, well, I would like to trust whoever this is. Not that I don't trust everyone on set, but so she was like, I'll do it, and I was like, oh, thanks, man. Like, so it's like we did that. It was super funny. So got it handled. It was fun though. That was a good one. We did it out in Kentucky.
Nice.
Louisville, Kentucky.
It looked gorgeous, especially the fall colors.
It was gorgeous.
And you know, you got dropped off in a yacht. I mean,
right.
You can't complain.
Exactly. I got dragged my lifeless body into a yacht. Again, they were there's the shot of me laying there dead.
Yeah.
And that was like my only shot of the day. Like, so they like zombied me up a little bit, and then I just laid on the floor, and they're like, wow, you're such a champion. I was like, again, laying on the floor of a yacht, I'm gonna be just fine. Like, I think I can handle it.
Nice. And you have a new project
Yeah.
coming up called Jupiter. I'll make sure I wrote it so I make sure I get it right. Jupiter's Legacy, also with a former Youth and Consequences co-star.
Yeah, there's not much details and stuff out there yet, but it's coming up. It's coming up.
Well, we know you do have powers, maybe, because your alter ego's Ghost Beam.
Mm-hmm.
And can you tell us, for what you can tell us, even though there's not a lot of details out?
Yeah.
Like, what does your character, like, maybe do that you can
Her
share?
name is no detail. You know me, I always got the secret projects. Could never talk about anything. But yeah, Ghost Beam, Jana, and it's really exciting. Got to shoot that over in Toronto. We have our Youth and Consequences. Me and Anna were texting up a storm, and yeah, so things to come. Things to come.
Things coming. We'll be on Netflix, so fans will be able to see you in that. But guys, it is time for our special segment called Do You Know This Character? And how this game is played is we're going to find out who knows the character better. Kara because she played it, or me because I watched it. And my producer Vito, is going to be giving us the questions. And we have these little nice dry erase boards that will have and host our answers on it. We have 10 seconds to answer.
Okay.
And Vito, we are ready for you, sir.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Do You Know This Character? The first question is, and I will just count down from 10, actually. What university did Abby go to? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
NDC.
2, 1. Your time is up. And
Howard!
Chae.
You put Stanford?
I panicked. I didn't even know colleges. I didn't go to college. I'm sorry.
You even said an
Chae,
HBCU.
can you move it? Can you move it?
Yeah. I said Howard.
Got it.
Because she's correct.
And that's okay. We've got it. One on the board for Chae.
You said Stanford.
I panicked. I literally was like, what is college?
That's okay. Next question. What is the one library card that Casey has that Abby doesn't? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Chae, please read your answer.
The Library of Congress.
I just wrote Congress.
That's
I
good.
wrote presidential.
That's good. On to the next question.
Okay.
Name 2 episode titles Kara played in Pretty Little Liars.
Killing me here. This is so embarrassing.
I remember one, so I'm not going to trip.
If you do not get 2, it is not a point.
I know.
Was I just asleep for 2 years? Like, what happened?
And time. So we've got The Darkest Night, which is one of the episodes.
Oh my god!
And the only reason I remember because the A in Darkest Night was like actually like an actual A, and I got love for some reason.
I need to redo my reel, clearly.
Another question. What is Yvonne's secret that was used during the election? 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's
Yes.
High school secret?
What is
Oh, yeah.
abortion?
Yes.
That is the answer.
What's an HS secret?
High school secret.
High school secret.
Chae trying to get extra points.
And last question before Yvonne's death. Where did she want to go on her honeymoon? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There are 4 different answers to this. We've got, okay, Prague, Buenos Aires, Patagonia, or Moscow in the winter.
Nowhere in Germany?
Nowhere in Germany, I'm sorry to say.
Wow.
We have our winner.
So many options.
It is Chae.
Yay!
Wow. Well done, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Thank you all for playing Do You Know Your Character?
It was fun.
So, turns out, no, not at all. Fake fan of Pretty Little Liars. Watched all of them.
Well, you got one question right for Pretty Little Liars, so it counts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. You still got to be on the show. So
Hey,
you win.
look, listen. The credit still stays, so that's great.
You got the IMDb credit. It works.
Fine.
Like, and we good.
We have one last bonus question if you want.
Cool.
What was the stuffed toy that Brandy got in faking it? Do either of you know the answer to this?
That I rip it.
Yeah.
10, 9,
I can spell.
8,
Hold on.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Banana or an elephant? It is a banana.
Wow! Wow, man. Thanks for that bonus question. That was great.
You're very welcome.
I know I couldn't see the picture. I was like, I saw the picture because it was like one of the ones for promo of like us like
going
struggling after it. Hilarious.
Thanks, Vito. You're so awesome.
Vito.
You're very welcome.
So do you have any other projects, obviously, besides Jupiter's Legacy that you have coming up that you want to share with the fans?
Yes, I am on God Friended Me right now, doing a recurring over there. The first episode was last week, and then tonight at 8 o'clock.
Nice.
Yes, for the next couple of weeks.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
That explains why she's been going to New York. I've been trying to figure it out like so hard. You guys have no idea. I'm like, she's back in New York. What's she doing there?
Exactly. So yeah, I've been shooting that over in New York. God Friended Me on CBS, and it's been such a blast. And part of another new love interest. And I'm with Allie, the sister to, again, Brandon Hall's character. I have to learn people's actual character names. I'm terrible at it. But so that's been really amazing to go work over there, and it's an amazing cast, and it's a really beautiful story that they're telling. So I'm happy to be a part of it.
What advice would you give to other young actors who do want to get in the business and don't exactly know where to start just yet?
Always class, just taking as much class as possible. That's how I got connected with like managers and agents and everything. And it is just about loving each step of the way. I think that if you aren't happy with where you are, you can't get to where you're going. So it is about that one line becomes the co-star becomes this, and everyone kind of just wants to be like superstar doing all these things. And if you don't love each step of getting there, you can't reach that place. Kind of people just want the like result rather than like the work of it and just enjoying it. And I still, go and do little things here and there where it's just like a couple lines and like things like that, just because I love being on set and I love the work.
I mean, especially when you did Runaways.
Right.
You reconnected with Greg for a moment.
Yeah. It was just cool. And there's just so many people that you work with and see. And there's so many things right now that I'm like, the creative person from here is now over here and doing all these things, and it's just like be good to people and enjoy what you do, and people will recognize it and it gets rewarded. It's nice.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for being our first guest on Dish Upon a Star.
Oh my gosh, what a position.
Do you want to tell people where they can find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Royster.
You guys can follow me at Real Chae Jones on Twitter and Instagram, and please follow the Dish Upon a Star Instagram account at dishuponastar_. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll see you with our next guest.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.